The 2010s decade has been dominated by Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and J. Cole, and what's interesting now is that they're getting to a point in their career where we've heard a lot of rumblings about the word retirement. So, what does retirement even mean in hip-hop? I'm not sure myself, because it's been teased by almost every single artist in the genre, and who really retires at the end of the day? So in today's episode, guys, we're going to be going through all of these artists and asking the question, what happens if they actually retire? So Lou, let me ask you, how do you feel about the rumors themselves? Because as a hip-hop fan myself, someone that's been following the genre for so long, I feel a bit concerned, but at the same time, I'm okay.
There's a lot of evidence pointing towards the fact that all three of them might retire super soon, and it must not be that surprising, just because if you look at even their ages, J. Cole's 37, Drake's 36, Kendrick Lamar's 35, they've been giving so much of their lives to music. I mean, Kendrick started in 2003, Drake first mixtape 2006, Cole, I believe, in 2007. So it's almost been 20 years that they've been killing it in the game, and there's been a lot of evidence and themselves almost confirming that their days in music might be behind them. So starting off with Drake, he's been teasing his retirement for the last 7 years. You go all the way back to Western Road Flows off of Views, and he rapped about how he's planning to retire by the age of 35. It's already funded. But then he backtracked and said that he actually regretted saying that line in a recent interview with Lil Yachty, where he did say that he's been embracing the idea of a graceful exit in the near future.
Well, this is the thing, though, is that I'm not sure if I fully buy it, and I'll tell you why. Because there was the whole thing of Drake signing a deal with Universal for around $400 to $500 million. Lucien Grange actually came out and spoke about the deal, saying that it would cover all kinds of different areas of Drake's career, whether it be merchandise or publishing, whatever it is. So it depends. Like, how does he see that, you know? And, like, the thing is, too, is that he never really confirmed the timeline for anything. So it's like, what is this graceful exit? Is it another year of dominance, or is it another decade of dominance? That's what's kind of interesting for me.
Yeah,
right now.
But retirement does seem like it's on the horizon for Drake. I mean, he did say that he was teasing an album in 2023 at his Apollo show. He said he might get bored and drop something else, but him saying that he's welcoming the idea makes me think maybe he has 4-5 years left in his career. I don't know, but let's go on to J. Cole, because he's been planning his retirement for the last 5 years. If you take it all the way back to KOD, the outro off of that was Intro to the Fall Off 1985, and later on we started to find out that the Fall Off was planned to be his final album, when he put up that checklist where the Fall Off was listed as kind of the last thing he wants to get done before his career's finished. And what's interesting too is that on his recent song for the Creed 3 movie, he rapped, "Just cop the fall off and he'll explain. Is it the end of the chapter, happily ever after? Bet this gonna be the year that fulfill his reign." So it seems like he's coming to terms. Like, J. Cole is chill with the idea of him closing the book on his catalog.
But this is the only thing, though, is that, yes, I do think that maybe it'll close a chapter of his career, but even looking at J. Cole as an MC right now, and we know how competitive he is and like how he's trying to really push the boundaries of his pen, I think that we need to see that over time. So even, let's say, with the offseason, right?
I disagree with you.
Okay, I'll explain to you why, okay? KOD, like, people had their criticisms with it, either if it was too laid back or people didn't, let's say, fuck with the writing. I'm a big fan of the album, so those same things don't apply for me. But now with the offseason, the narrative with that album is that, hey, it's a return to form for J. Cole. He's competitive again. He's rapping like his old mixtape days. You know, Dreamville is hotter than ever right now. So it's like the reason to stop. I'm not sure if it's there right now for J. Cole.
I think the off-season was really the warm-up to the big finale, which is going to be the fall-off. And the reason why I'm more concerned about Cole retiring than Drake is because J. Cole has been planning this, bro. Like, he doesn't do anything out of the blue. Like, he's been putting this into our minds and engraving it for the last couple of years. So I really doubt that he's going to put out the fall off and say, fuck it, I'm coming back.
But marketing and reason are two completely different things. So,
I know.
Example, okay, go back to the Black Album for Jay-Z. Dude, the whole marketing rollout was based about his bow out, and he was actually around the same age as J. Cole, low-key, and he was like, okay, I'm done. I delivered you guys fantastic albums. I've been in the game for nearly 10 years now. It's time to step out. 3 years later, you get a brand new studio album from Jay-Z, and then he goes on another 10-year run. So it's like,
look at Logic and No Pressure, same idea.
So
right?
The thing is that, yes, I do enjoy the marketing of it, and I do think that it would be a heroic step out, but it's like, where do you really see it within
Yeah,
the
it's
genre?
tough to say just because you don't see it often, bro. Like the one rapper I can think off the top of my head that's actually like said he was retiring and stuck true to his word was Joe Budden, and that's because he found a lane in podcasting and he just went with a different business venture.
Yeah,
So
and it's like, even what does retirement mean? Are you stopping features completely? Are you doing more collaborative work and you're stopping your solo
because
catalog?
look at Lauryn Hill, right? Hasn't released a studio album of her own since the 90s, but she's still hopping out here and there for a feature or two. So I think for Cole, if he does retire after the fall off, he'll still pull up to the
I think
Revenge of the
he takes
Dreamers
a
albums.
break, though.
He'll still do features.
I think he takes a break.
But let's go on to Kendrick Lamar now, because this one is a bit less, I would say, confirmed, because it seems like rather than saying he's going to retire, he's not prioritizing his music career as much, which is totally understandable. And we got to see a glimpse of this when he took the 5-year break in between Damn and Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and then kind of gave us an explanation throughout the album, specifically on the outro Mirror, where, you know, he tells us, I choose me, I'm sorry. Like, I'm at a point in my life where I want to prioritize taking care of my family and, you know, focus on my own personal life, which is totally understandable. But that also tells me as a fan, maybe music isn't the ultimate goal. And now with the emergence of PG Lang, maybe the move is to really hand off the torch to a Baby Keem, to a Tana
But
Leon.
the thing is that he just started PG Lang, and he's low-key still the hottest commodity within his own record label. So even from a business standpoint, why would he step out and stop making music from that?
That's why. I
So,
don't think he stops now. I think maybe he drops two more
well, I mean,
albums.
but they're going into more of a mature phase within their career, kind of letting people know that they might not be doing the same thing that they were doing 10 years ago. And I think that that's going to be the case for all of these rappers, because think about it. At this point, like, they've done everything. Like, these guys are cemented within, you know, the history of the world, for fuck's sakes. I mean, even looking at what Cole did for music, what Kendrick did for music, what Drake did for music, these impacts are undeniable. So I feel like for Kendrick now, maybe it's just more of a place where he just wants to make music freely. He wants to work on his creative vision with PG Lang, and he wants to push the people within that collective, either if it's, let's say, Dave Free and getting him, let's say, to the top of the music industry. Let's say it's taking Baby Keem and putting him on top of the mountain now, even taking someone like Tana Leon and developing a raw talent like that. And I feel like he needs to do that with his music. So
Yeah.
understanding that, I feel like he still has more time.
I feel like he's setting up the right pieces of the puzzle for him to eventually kind of back off. But another reason why I think he's close to it is because he doesn't seem to have that same drive or appetite that he once had. And we got a glimpse of this on the interview he did with Citizen Magazine last year, where he said that he doesn't care to be the greatest anymore. And I found that a bit contradictory to an interview he did with Zane Lowe in 2017 for the Damn Rollout, where he said that if you're rapping and not trying to be the best, then what the fuck are you doing it for?
But this is the thing, though, is that there was a complete shift in mentality with Kendrick now. So going back to, you know, let's say what he was talking about within his album, talking about giving more of his energy to family, more of time to self-healing, and more of the time to recoup
So
all
you
of
think
the
he's
losses.
going to pop out every 5 years and maybe just be more on his own time?
No, because like time is no longer a factor within Kendrick's career. I mean, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers kind of just confirmed that this guy could go as long as he wants without dropping, and people are going to come back into this fucking release. And I think at this point, yes, even if he does take another 5-year hiatus, as long as the fans know that they're going to be delivered quality, I think everyone will still be listening. Now, is that still the smartest route for him to go through? I'm not sure, just because, I mean, I'm not Kendrick Lamar, like an exec on his record label, but you're still like one of the biggest artists in the world, then your music would do a lot for that collective.
Yeah.
But the same thing could also play on the other side, where it's like, do you want Kendrick to be the face of this new PG Line collective? Because you do have Baby Keem there. Maybe he needs to be the poster boy. Let's say even someone like Tana Leon. So it's such an interesting conversation.
Yeah, but let me ask you this. Like, do you think that they are actually retiring soon? Because based on our conversation right now, I feel like you're not certain of any of these guys dropping, retiring anytime soon. Like, you think they're going to be around for another decade? Like, what are your thoughts on that, bro?
Oh, this is interesting. I mean, it's not that I'm on a side, right? I think that people obviously move into different phases of their life, and people want different things at different moments. So I think that now it's a shift in career. Now they're going to be a lot more of like the Godfather role within their own areas of music, and whatever they decide to do within those roles is up to them. So I think playing on that front, no, they're not going to retire. Plus, like, how do you retire from the thing that you love the most? You know, that's the thing, is that you never really stop, and you never really truly like put everything
Yes,
down.
but at the same time, you need that inspiration at all times, bro. You need to have that fuel to keep going, because these are legendary artists. These are guys that have built up a legacy, and I like to compare especially J. Cole and Kendrick's situation to someone like Quentin Tarantino, where he's at his 10th film, and he says after that 10th movie, I don't want to keep going because I don't want myself to fade away into obscurity.
thing
I
is-
want to go out. I want to go out while I'm still on top. And I feel like Kendrick and Cole might view it the same way, where it's like, you know what? If I don't have these
Why aren't you
ideas to
include-
write my songs,
so why wouldn't you include Drake into that
because I
conversation?
feel like Drake is a bit more loose when it comes to releasing albums. I feel like if he has a feeling,
That's
if
true.
he has an emotion attached
That's
to a
true.
certain time in his
That's
life,
true.
he'll just put it out. Something casual like a Dark Lane demo tapes. Like, I don't think he cares about every project being a classic necessarily, in my opinion.
Well,
That's the way that I viewed his
yes,
output.
okay, I will. Well, I mean, what's cool about his whole approach with music is that he plays like the long-term game where people will be like, hey, you're only going to like this album 4 years down the line. But it's also for Kendrick, J. Cole, and Drake, you have other people within the genre that have spent close to 4 decades here and that are really going on to a whole different level with their careers. So, example, let's take Nas and Jay-Z, right? Prominent within the 90s, prominent within the 2000s, prominent within the 2010s, and now prominent within the 2020s, right? So, does that play a factor into the way that they see their own careers? Because also for a rapper and for an artist themselves, they live through, let's say, generational shifts within the culture and play on different things that are happening, what's prominent within the world. So they might want to use more runtime to be able to do that. Plus, they're still in their mid-30s. Like, they low-key have so much time.
And that's the thing, is that I feel like even if they take 5 years off and say, fuck it, the Fall Off's my last one, or saying, Drake's next album is his last one. Let's say he goes out and says that. You still can't believe that because nothing will ever be set in stone. Jay-Z, I think, was on like the Kevin Hart podcast or something, and he said, I'm not retired from music because I might wake up one day and have a genius idea for a studio album, and I don't want to put myself in that light of I'm done. So I think it's going to be interesting to see, but I think the most positive aspect of them maybe going from artist to full-on music executives is the fact that they can truly become the best scouts and tastemakers in the genre. Like, think about what a Drake cosign does. Imagine if all of his attention, or a bigger portion of his attention, is now focused on bringing up new artists and putting up
stuff like
a
that.
machine behind them. Like, they all have record labels to run, which is going to be super interesting. But I kind of want to wrap it up like this. What do you want to see from the three of them before it's all said and done, bro? Like,
Well,
what are
that's
you missing before they actually retire?
Well, I think Fagella put this up on the Twitter. I got to see one last, like, J. Cole and Kendrick
No,
song.
the three of them, bro. Fuck
Yeah,
that.
but okay, no,
I want all
but
three on one song.
I know, but that's a bit unrealistic. Okay, I think you're gonna end up seeing Drake and J. Cole at a point. I think that's more like you see them together. I mean, Drake even headlining Dreamville Fest. That's gonna be a fucking crazy moment, and we're gonna be there, guys. Anyone that's gonna be there, we're gonna be doing content. So going back to the conversation, I think that's gonna happen, but it's just so mythical for the Kendrick and Cole collab. Like, you want to see that.
It is tough to see. In terms of Drake, I want to see a real concept album from him.
Oh yeah, okay,
maybe
cool.
something where it's him having a feature from a low key artist on every single song, him putting people on, because that's been what he's been known to do throughout his career. Also, the Lil Wayne collab album is something else. A full-on concise rap album that's viewed as a classic from everyone is something else. For J. Cole, I just want to see him complete that checklist. He has that plan. I want to see him execute upon it, and then I'll be chilling. For Kendrick, on the other hand, it's tough just because he's given us so much already. But as we've mentioned before, I want to see the Alter Ego album. I want to see him step into someone else's shoes for the entirety of an album, because I feel like he's given so much of himself already that we can kind of lean into something like that for now. But it's going to be cool to see how this
Very
2020s
interesting.
decade shapes
Very
up, because
interesting.
all three of them are still low-key in the prime of their careers. They're not letting up. They're still giving it their all. So let us know, guys, in the comments. Do you think they're retiring anytime soon? And how would you feel if they would retire? And if you guys enjoyed this conversation, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.